Let's have a real talk with the teachers of South Africa. You're working in a democratic system, yet most of you are completely burnt out, drowning in admin, and quite frankly, counting down the days until the end of term and even the end of the year. Why does this free system feel so much like a trap? Let's break it down using Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed, but without the heavy academic jargon. Let's just keep it simple. In the preface of his book, Freire talks about something called the fear of freedom. And think about it. The education system, whether it's provincial or national, is a massive, heavy machine. It crushes you with impossible pass rate demands, with massive class sizes, with a curriculum, and with endless paperwork. So why don't teachers just stand together and say, no, this is impossible? Because Freire says freedom is terrifying. It's much easier and feels much safer to just put your head down, smile when a circuit manager or curriculum advisor visits, and follow the rules, even when those rules are slowly destroying you. The system relies on you being in survival mode because people in survival mode can't ask questions and push back. Now we get to chapter 1 of his book, and this is where things become a little uncomfortable. Freire says that an oppressive system dehumanizes people. It stops treating you like an intelligent, creative being and starts treating you like a robot whose only job is to push out data into a spreadsheet. But Freire's biggest warning to you as a teacher is that when you are powerless against people at the top, you are in danger of becoming a sub-oppressor to the people at the very bottom. Because when you have no control over the department or curriculum, you might unintentionally take that frustration out on your students. You might become a dictator in your classroom, heavily policing things like uniforms or bathroom breaks, simply because your classroom is the only place in the system where you actually have any power. How does the system try to fix your burnout? They give you what Freire calls false charity. And false charity is when the department throws you a once-a-year staff wellness workshop or gives you a tiny bump in the budget to buy extra things like whiteboard markers or pads for your learners, while keeping the workload exactly the same. Freire says this is an illusion, and true generosity is not the oppressor tossing crumbs to keep you quiet. True generosity is actually pushing back against the system that makes you beg for crumbs in the first place. So what does real teacher activism then look like? Freire makes it clear the people at the top are never going to hand you your liberation. The system cannot fix itself. The oppressed, which in this case is you, the teachers, have to liberate yourselves. But you can't do it alone, and you definitely can't do it if you are treating your students like the enemy. True activism means breaking the cycle. It means refusing to be the department's sub-oppressor. It means partnering with your students, recognizing that you are both victims of a broken machine, and working together to build a system that actually treats everyone like human beings. So how do you actually do this tomorrow morning when you walk into your classroom? You can start small. First, stop being the solo dictator of rules. Co-create your classroom agreements with your students so that they have a voice. And second, practice radical transparency. When the department hands down a ridiculous assessment or an out-of-touch rule, don't pretend that you just agree with it to look powerful. Tell your students, the system is making us do this. It's heavy for me, and I know it's heavy for you, but how can we get through this together? And that simple shift stops you from being the face of the oppressor. It builds solidarity and turns your classroom into a team rather than a battleground. Teachers, it's time to ask a hard question. Are you pushing back against the system, or are you just becoming a conduit for the system? Let's talk about it in the comments.